Imagine walking onto a woke CNN panel and hitting them with nothing but facts.
To call Trump Hitler is to call over 80 million Americans, 35% of Jewish Americans, 56% of Hispanic men, and the majority of Americans who make under $100,000 a year, because those are the people who gave Donald Trump his victory. And I just have a pro tip for any Democrats who are thinking about winning back the working class, those people who make under $100,000 a year, who a majority of whom voted for Trump. You should have a visceral disgust for someone like Larry David, who's worth $400 million, sitting there and sneering and smearing the hardest working Americans for refusing to co-sign their own disinheritance. That's effectively what they are doing, and it just has to stop.
This woman ended the reparations debate in just a few seconds.
The practice of slavery was legal. We need to remember that governments did not own slaves. Slave owners did. In fact, the US government fought a war to end slavery. How much should the descendants of the 400,000 Union soldiers who lost their lives fighting to free the slaves pay to the descendants of the slaves they freed? It's bizarre to suggest that human beings should inherit the outrage of the deeds of their parents. Should the child born from a rapist be branded a rapist because of his father's criminality? Should the child of a mass murderer be sent to prison because of his father's crime? No. In America, in the main, it was the Democrats who owned slaves, and the Democrats who in the main passed and enforced Jim Crow laws. It was also the Democrats who founded the Ku Klux Klan. Should the current Democratic Party be held responsible for this? No. We do not inherit the sins of our fathers.
So, simple question. Who gets to decide whether the United States is at war
or
not?
The president, in my opinion. No. If we're being invaded, actually, I want the commander-in-chief to know.
Scott, no. It's actually the Congress.
When you're asking if we're being invaded.
I'm asking.
You want to call Congress and see if we're being invaded?
I'm asking a basic constitutional
We'll be taken over before they ever get to the committee room.
That's the point.
I am not accustomed to helping your party do anything.
Yep.
But let me give you some advice. This was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And if you read the comments today, Lord have mercy. Look, scrambling for new social media and communication strategies is not a replacement for fixing what's actually wrong. Your party has a 21% approval rating right now, Congressional Democrats.
Well, let's talk about fixing what's wrong. Donald Trump is doing nothing for the American people.
And he has a 50% approval rating.
But he's doing nothing for the American people.
And so
he's not lowering the cost of living. He tells lies.
Fix the policy and leave the gimmicks behind.
Yes, and
when asked to apologize for not wearing a Pride-themed jersey, this hockey player stood his ground and doubled down instead.
I respect everybody, and I respect everybody's choices. My choice is to stay true to myself and my religion. That's all I'm going to say. If you have any hockey questions, I will answer those.
What is your religion?
Russian Orthodox.
Did you have any concern that not participating...
Did you not hear what I just said? Can you respect that?
These so-called experts never know how to react when they're challenged intellectually.
In what sense is our society male-dominated?
The fact that the vast majority of wealth is owned by men.
Most people in prison are men. Most people who are on the street are men. Most victims of violent crime are men. Most people who commit suicide are men. Most people who die in wars are men. People who do worse in school are men. Where's the dominance here precisely? What you're doing is you're taking a tiny substrata of hyper-successful men and using that to represent the entire structure of Western society.
But I could say equally well that most rape victims are women.
And you could say that, but that doesn't provide any evidence for the existence of a male-dominated patriarchy.
Well,
it just means that terrible things happen to both genders, which they certainly do.
This is not the Republican Party that I grew up in. And I don't think it's ever coming back. I think it's gone. I think it's gone for good. They're in the ditch and they just don't know it yet.
How are we in the ditch? We won the national popular vote last November. We won a crushing victory in the Electoral College. We won majorities in the House and the Senate. We just passed the big, beautiful bill. Peace is breaking out in the Middle East. Peace is breaking out on the African continent. Gas prices are lower than they've been in 4 years. Taxes are going to be low. Egg prices are down 69%. The southern border is secure. Jeff, these are things Republicans have believed in for a very long time.
But Scott, I mean, that's not the case.
His attitude and his ability to get things done, his spirit, the way he fights the left, the way he fights for free speech and Western civilization, and the way he's open to coalition building and building non-traditional alliances is a key political talent.
I remember sitting at a meeting leading up to this election. I've got Bill Kristol sitting here. I've got, former friends, conservatives from across the aisle. We were all aligned in how do we defeat Trump. It was a meeting.
How'd it work out?
You know what, Scott?
Just asking.
All right.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what.